You beautiful disaster of discipline. Look at you. Look at what you became when nobody clapped. Look at what you built when nobody stayed. Look at what grew inside you when the room went cold. The calls stopped coming. The fake love dried up. And the people who swore they believed in you suddenly got real comfortable watching you struggle from a safe distance. Now you're here, still breathing, still moving, still dangerous, and that is exactly what's eating them alive. It's not just that you survived. People survive every day. People drag themselves through pain every day. That's not the part that breaks them. What breaks them is that you didn't just survive. You adapted. You got smarter, colder, sharper, more focused, more deliberate, less needy, less emotional in the places where emotion used to make you weak. You stopped explaining yourself. You stopped begging to be understood. You stopped auditioning for loyalty from people who were never going to choose you anyway. And somewhere in that silence, while they were laughing, while they were doubting, while they were low-key praying you'd stay confused, you learned how to win alone. That's why they can't sit still now, because the version of you they counted on, the insecure you, the distracted you, the broken you, the one who needed a text back, the one who needed reassurance, the one who kept asking, "Am I enough?" That version is gone, buried, and now they're standing in front of someone they can't manipulate the same way. That's terrifying to people who only felt powerful when you were lost. Let's be real. A lot of people loved the old you for one reason. Not because you were lovable, not because they were loyal, not because they saw your soul and wanted to protect it. No, they loved how accessible you were, how easy you were to read, how easy you were to delay, how easy you were to use as an option, how easy it was to come back when their ego needed attention, how easy it was to leave you starving for closure while they moved around like your pain was just some background app running on your phone. They loved that you were available, but then you changed the game. You stopped reaching. You stopped chasing. You stopped oversharing. You stopped trying to convince people to see your value when they benefited from pretending they couldn't. And when you did that, something crazy happened. You found power, not fake power, not loud power, not social media quote power, not watch me glow up for 10 minutes and then crash in private power. Real power, the kind of power that is built in the dark, the kind that comes from crying with nobody to call, the kind that comes from sitting on the edge of your bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling your heart rip through your chest, and still deciding, nah, I'm not done. I'm not folding. I'm not letting this be the end of me. That decision changed everything, because once a person learns how to carry themselves through hell alone, they become very hard to intimidate. And that truth, right there, that's poison to everybody who thought your strength depended on them. See, they were fine when you needed support. They were comfortable when you were uncertain. They liked you better when you doubted yourself. They slept peacefully when they believed your confidence was temporary. But now you move like you know something they don't. Now your silence has weight. Now your absence has consequence. Now your eyes don't search the room for permission. Now your energy says, I can lose everybody in here and still not lose myself. That energy ruins people who built their identity around being needed by you, because some people never wanted to walk with you. They wanted ownership. They wanted emotional access. They wanted to be the reason you smiled, the reason you calmed down, the reason you kept going. the reason you believed in yourself. And the second they realized you could become whole without them, it hit them like a truck. Because now they have to live with the one thing their ego can't digest. You were never weak. You were just unguarded. You were never small. You were just giving your softness to the wrong people. You were never hard to love. You were just surrounded by people who only understand value after they lose access to it. That's why it's eating them alive, because they see it now. They see the discipline. They see the restraint. They see the glow that doesn't come from attention, but from self-respect. They see the way you move now. No drama, no speeches, no fake revenge tour, just results. And results are brutal. Results don't argue. Results don't plead. Results don't send paragraphs. Results don't need closure. Results just stand there, breathing, thriving, smiling a little differently, walking a little slower, looking a little more expensive, talking a little less, meaning a whole lot more. That kind of transformation is hard to watch when somebody thought they had you figured out. Because they did have you figured out at one point. They knew what triggered you. They knew what silence would hurt you. They knew what distance would make you panic. They knew how long to disappear before you started blaming yourself. They knew how to keep one foot in your life, just enough to stop you from fully moving on. And then one day, their old tricks stopped working. They sent the bait. You didn't bite. They played cold. You stayed calm. They went quiet. You got louder in your purpose, not your mouth. They tried to confuse you. You got clear. They tried to shake your confidence. You built more. They expected your heart to stay unlocked forever. You changed the code. That moment right there. That's when the tables turned. And not everybody can handle the sound of the tables turning. Especially people who thought your loyalty meant permanent access. Especially people who confused your kindness for weakness. Especially people who thought your patience was proof they could keep playing with your future. Now they're stuck watching you become everything they secretly hoped you'd never have the courage to become. Peaceful without them. Focused without them. Powerful without them. Unreachable in the places where they used to touch your mind. Unbothered in the exact spaces where they once knew how to disturb you. And let me tell you something nobody says enough. When you win alone, it exposes everybody. Everybody. It exposes who was rooting for your healing and who was secretly invested in your chaos. It exposes who loved your spirit and who loved your dependence. It exposes who celebrated your progress and who only tolerated you when you were easier to outrun. That's why some people get weird when you level up, not because you changed for the worse, because your growth removed the mask from their intentions. Your strength became a mirror, and a lot of people hate mirrors. They hate the mirror that shows them they underestimated you. They hate the mirror that shows them how lazy they were with your heart. They hate the mirror that shows them you did alone what they said you'd never do. They hate the mirror that shows them they lost access to something rare because they treated it like it was replaceable. That's the part that burns, knowing they had a front row seat to your potential, and they still played games, knowing they had a real one in front of them, and they still moved fake. Knowing they had your trust, and they treated it like spare change. Now they watch from a distance while your life starts making sense without them. Now they scroll. Now they ask around. Now they pretend not to care. Now they act casual. Now they rehearse little speeches in their head about how they always knew you had it in you. No, they didn't. If they knew, they would have handled you differently. If they knew, they would have protected what they had. If they knew, they wouldn't have gambled with your presence like you were just another option they could circle back to whenever life got lonely. No, they didn't know. And that ignorance is haunting them now, because there is nothing more painful to a careless person than realizing too late that the one they played with became the one they can't replace. Let that sink in. You became irreplaceable not by begging to be seen, but by seeing yourself. That's how the shift happened. Not when they apologized, not when they came back, not when you got validation, not when somebody else finally noticed your value. The shift happened when you got tired. Not tired like sleepy, tired like soul tired, tired like, I cannot keep bleeding for people who call it love. Tired like, I cannot keep shrinking so other people don't feel insecure around my potential. Tired like, I cannot keep handing my peace to people who treat my loyalty like some unlimited free trial. That kind of tired changes a person. That kind of tired builds monsters, quiet monsters, disciplined monsters, monsters that don't scream, monsters that don't chase, monsters that don't explain, monsters that lock in. And once you locked in, everything got different. Your mornings felt different. Your standards got different. Your habits got different. Your attention got expensive. Your circle got smaller. Your excuses started sounding embarrassing to you. Your old patterns started looking like traps instead of comfort. Your loneliness stopped feeling like punishment and started feeling like protection. That right there is grown pain. That right there is mature fire. That right there is what happens when suffering finally teaches instead of just hurting. Because pain can either make you pathetic or precise. At first, it usually makes you pathetic. Let's be honest. At first, it has you replaying everything, overthinking every text, rereading every moment, wondering what you could have done different, wondering why you weren't enough, wondering why people can promise forever with a straight face and disappear like you imagined the whole connection. That stage is ugly. That stage humbles you. It strips your ego. It embarrasses you. It makes you face how much of yourself you placed in hands that didn't know how to hold anything sacred. But if you stay with it long enough, if you sit in that fire long enough, if you stop numbing it just long enough to learn from it, pain becomes precision. Then you stop asking, why did they do that to me? And you start asking, why did I ignore what was obvious? You stop asking, why wasn't I enough? And you start asking, why was I trying so hard to be enough for people who were never enough for me? You stop asking, how do I get them back? And you start asking, what in me still believes I need people who fumbled me? That's when the power comes back. And when your power comes back after betrayal, it doesn't come back cute. It comes back dangerous. Because now your heart has wisdom. Now your instincts have scars. Now your standards have teeth. Now your boundaries are not just cute little preferences you post online. Now they are law. And people feel that. Even if you never say a word, people feel when you stop being available for nonsense. They feel when your energy no longer bends. They feel when your silence isn't pain anymore. It's choice. They feel when you finally accepted the brutal truth that closure is not owed, fairness is not guaranteed, and peace has to be protected like your life depends on it. Because it does. Your peace is expensive. Your focus is expensive. Your nervous system is expensive. Your future is expensive. Stop handing those things to people who show up with cheap intentions. That lesson, you learned it alone. Nobody held your hand through that transformation. Nobody was there at 2 a.m. when your chest felt heavy. Nobody saved you from those spirals. Nobody climbed inside your mind and pulled you out of the war. You did that. You dragged yourself out of your own darkness. You rebuilt your confidence with shaking hands. You pieced your identity back together while life was still throwing punches. You smiled when it still hurt. You worked when you still felt empty. You kept going when every part of you wanted to disappear for a while. That kind of courage does something to a person. It makes you sacred, not perfect, not untouchable, not cold in a fake way. Sacred, because now you know what it costs to become this version of yourself. And when you know the cost, you stop giving discounts. That's another reason they're losing sleep. Because the old version of you was negotiable. This version isn't. The old version of you could be guilt-tripped. This version pauses, sees the manipulation, and keeps walking. The old version of you would have replied instantly, over-explained, tried to fix the vibe, tried to save the connection, tried to make everybody comfortable, even while your own soul was screaming for mercy. This version reads energy. This version notices patterns. This version knows that inconsistency is a language. This version knows that confusion is often the answer. This version knows that delayed respect is disrespect. This version knows that being chosen late is not the same as being valued right. That wisdom is expensive, and expensive things don't beg to be bought. Now think about what that does to the people who thought time was on their side. They thought they could come back later, thought they could double back when you got attractive enough, successful enough, stable enough, mysterious enough, desired enough. They thought they could spin the block and find the same access. But you're not there anymore. That door leads nowhere now. That version moved out. And people lose their minds when they realize they can no longer reach the person who used to wait for them. That's what regret really is. Not just sadness, not just guilt. Regret is realizing the bridge you thought would always be there burned down while you were busy acting like you had forever. You didn't just leave the old cycle. You outgrew it. You didn't just heal. You evolved. You didn't just recover. You became selective. And being selective in a world full of users, pretenders, attention-hungry energy leeches, and half-hearted people, that is revolutionary. Because most people are still trying to be liked, still trying to fit in, still trying to be picked, still trying to be digestible, still trying not to intimidate weak minds with strong energy. But you hit a point where being understood became less important than being aligned. That changes your whole life. Because when alignment becomes your standard, you stop forcing. You stop chasing places where your spirit feels cramped. You stop calling dysfunction chemistry. You stop calling anxiety love. You stop calling bare minimum effort potential. You stop calling inconsistency a misunderstanding. You stop calling disrespect a bad day. And that shift makes you almost impossible to play with. That's why some people are disturbed by your peace now. It's not that they miss you, not in the pure way. They miss access. They miss influence. They miss the version of you that still believed they had good intentions. They miss the old emotional door code. They miss knowing that one random message could throw your whole nervous system into chaos. But now, nothing. You've become still. Not because you don't feel, but because you've learned that not every feeling deserves your reaction. That right there is mastery. Everybody talks about winning. Very few people understand what winning actually looks like. Winning is not always loud. Sometimes winning is saying nothing when your ego wants a speech. Sometimes winning is deleting the draft. Sometimes winning is not checking. Sometimes winning is waking up and choosing your routine over your relapse. Sometimes winning is not letting your loneliness make decisions your healed self will have to pay for later. That's grown person warfare. That's where the real battle is. Not out there, not on the timeline, not in public, inside you. In the moments where nobody would know if you folded. In the moments where nobody would see you break your own standards. In the moments where the easy move would be to go back to what's familiar, even if familiar is exactly what almost destroyed you. And every time you chose yourself in those private moments, you won. Every time you stayed disciplined when nobody was watching, you won. Every time you let the craving pass instead of turning it into self-betrayal, you won. Every time you sat with the ache and refused to sell your future for temporary comfort, you won. That's why your win hits different. Because it wasn't handed to you. It wasn't gifted to you. It wasn't sponsored by a crowd. It wasn't carried by applause. It was built through repetition, through restraint, through humiliation, through lonely nights, through quiet mornings, through ugly growth, through choosing standards over feelings again and again and again until your life finally started reflecting what your pain was trying to teach you. That kind of win has roots, and rooted people can't be easily shaken. That's what scares them, because now even if life punches you again, you know something you didn't know before. You know you can survive your own heartbreak. You know you can rebuild from scratch. You know you can lose people and still find yourself. You know you can start over without an audience. You know you can walk away from anything that costs your peace. You know you can be lonely without being desperate. You know you can be wounded without becoming weak. That knowledge is terrifying to people who hoped one loss would destroy you. But it didn't destroy you. It introduced you to you. The real you, the deeper you, the less performative you, the more grounded you, the you that doesn't need noise to feel important, the you that doesn't need revenge to feel powerful, the you that doesn't need to prove anything every 5 seconds because your presence already says enough. That presence is what suffocates them, because they can feel the difference. They can feel that you're no longer trying to impress. You're no longer trying to explain your worth to people committed to misunderstanding you. You're no longer donating energy to one-sided connections. You're no longer confusing being seen with being valued. And the people who fumbled you, they have to sit with that. They have to sit with the fact that they met you before the glow-up and still couldn't recognize what was in front of them. Do you know how heavy that is? To know someone became extraordinary after you mishandled them. To know the person you dismissed became disciplined. To know the person you delayed became decisive. To know the person you underestimated became undeniable. That kind of realization creeps up on people in quiet rooms, late hours, random moments, a picture, a memory, a name, a sentence, a mutual mention, a glimpse of your energy from a distance, and suddenly they feel it all over again. Not love, loss. Loss is louder than love when ego is involved, because love says, I wish I had protected that. Ego says, How dare they become this without me? And a lot of people are not suffering because they lost you. They're suffering because they no longer have control over the story they told themselves about you. They told themselves you'd always be there. Wrong. They told themselves you'd always care more. Wrong. They told themselves you'd come back softer. Wrong. They told themselves your loyalty meant weakness. Wrong. They told themselves you wouldn't make it without them. Dead wrong. And now your life is the correction. Every disciplined move you make is a correction. Every boundary is a correction. Every moment of peace is a correction. Every standard is a correction. Every blessing you touch with clean hands and a clear mind is a correction. You became living proof that being abandoned is not the same as being defeated. Read that in your bones. Being abandoned is not the same as being defeated. Being rejected is not the same as being unworthy. Being delayed is not the same as being denied. Being alone is not the same as being lost. Sometimes being alone is the exact thing that saves your life. Because solitude will reveal what noise hides. It will show you where your patterns are broken. It will show you where your self-respect leaks. It will show you where your childhood wounds are still choosing your adult relationships. It will show you where you crave crumbs because some part of you still thinks starving is normal.